Good morning to you, wherever you are at this time. Welcome to another edition of Connecting the Dots on National Broadcast, the DBS Radio. August 16, 2025. And yes, we are ready. Ready for another session, ready for another vibes. Just ensuring that everything is, ready to go, to roll. Lovely weather in the area. Not bad so far. Some rough seas. But we welcome you again wherever you are this time. Welcome. Connecting the Dots, CTD. Approaching 5 years already. November 14 will turn 5. Okay, Dean, put me on. As I say, welcome again, family. Bonjour, good day, Kumaouye. We are so happy to make connection again with you once more. We look forward to a Saturday at this time. On radio and on social media platforms, on Facebook and YouTube. It's Connecting the Dots on DBS Radio. Okay. Yes, Dean, we're ready. Put Nigel on, put me on. Just let us go with the vibes, man. Okay, people, family, sitting comfortably in the CTD house. Small up yourself, okay? There's enough room for everyone. I can see Vado with her arms crossed. La mea qua. But just on the look, I looking around but Snapper, you're not easy. I see you, Snapper. You have the crocker's bag of Kennips right next to you as if it's yours. But just on there's somebody calling me, man. Is this Winnie Green's voice that I hear, or is it Sandra Norris? Is it Sonia Williams? I'm hearing someone calling my name. I am here. Nigel is here as well. Oui, Nula. Nigel, come quick before you get a detention. So long you there trying to clean a kennip seed. Come on, man, Nigel. Where are you? You there clean a kennip seed with your teeth. Come on. No, listen for somebody.
I come in.
Yeah, man. Stop bleaching the kennip. I just said the kennip for you and you want it all already, we Nigel. Nah, man.
That's what happens when you take too long to send it to me, you see?
Why? I'll send it earlier next time, man.
Yes. That's what happens when you take too long to send it over. How we doing?
Well, we should be doing fine, We should be doing fine. And let's see what happens today. Let's ensure that everything rolls well because we are ready. All right, Nigel?
We are ready, and everything should roll very well because of the guests that we have. We should have no issues today. Mm-hmm. Okay, when you have that kind of, when you have, the caliber of those guests and the school that they went to and, what they did, then everything will roll smoothly today.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, Papa. You have more to say now on the
No.
Okay.
I'm going to leave it that for today.
Okay, I give you a chance to say what you have to say.
I have to represent you as well today. Mm-hmm. So today I'm not going to say too much.
I will try not to add anything.
I'm not going to say. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say anything today.
Me, Papa. Anyway, Nigel. Yes, we are
We
ready
shall
for the
survive.
program. Let's just
Right?
big up, yeah, by the way, the folks of Castle Bruce, because they're having their reunion.
Yes,
It's on.
yes,
Breaker
yes.
will be performing tonight. Should be performing tonight. So
Man,
that's
I
really
see
big.
Breaker in his
Oh
element
my
there,
goodness.
during the week there. So I
Yes,
can imagine
Nigel.
what's going to be happening tonight in Castle Bruce.
Yes.
So, my dear friend Lauren Bannis Roberts, good morning to you, and, Anthony Drago and all the other folks that's been working hard to make the Castle Bruce reunion what it's going to be. So far,
Yes.
seems to be pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So far,
tonight is
so
going to
good,
be the
man.
big one with Breaker and others. So please head down to Castle Bruce tonight to form part of that reunion. I know that we have the Lapland vacation just came through as
Oh yes,
well,
and
so
that too
that
was
was
good.
good.
Yes. Yes.
And then who
Yes.
else? It's been reunions. We
Yes, we
had
have
the
had quite a
Wesley
few
one,
already.
we had the
Yes, we
St.
have.
Andrews
Yes.
reunion.
Yeah.
It's just reunions all over
Oh
the place.
yes, and you know the
So,
importance of these reunions. Yeah.
so that's good.
Yeah, I
That's
just
good.
always
That's good.
say it is a matter of identity, of community, of togetherness. That community vibe. And a push for the preservation of our cultural traditions as well. So there are a lot of
Yes,
benefits
yes.
from an activity of
And
that
that's a
nature.
good thing about reunions, is the reconnection and the apart from seeing people you haven't seen for a long while, it allows you to get back to that space that you were at some
Definitely,
point,
that's it. That's
So
it.
that's nice. That's nice to have that.
Yes,
So
yes,
Cassie Bruce and
yes.
everybody else, all the best.
And all those planning their
Yeah.
reunions as
And
well.
all those who are planning their
Yes,
reunions, of
yes.
course,
Because reunions also catalyze a social change, and fosters
It
that
does.
sense of community, that community spirit that we also need. So that's good.
Yes, yes.
Let's say
What
hi.
what I love so far they've been doing is that, as part of the activities, they always ensure that there's something that they do for the community. Whether it's a cleanup, whether it's painting the
Yeah.
school bus, the school stands, or whatever it is,
Create that
or having
lasting
some
impression.
donations, but something
Yeah.
happens. So that's good.
And that's very, very, very good. Let's say hi as well, Nigel, to Dr. Emmanuel Finn and his lovely wife,
Yes.
Sari and Alana as well, Plays Us Academy, playing a major role, of course, in the educational landscape in Dominica. So let's say hello to them.
And that is important because that foundation is key, So
Yeah,
yes,
definitely.
definitely. Good morning to you, Dr. Emmanuel Finn and Chrissy. And
Oh,
all the
yes.
best. I know that September is just around the corner for the opening of
Please Us Academy.
Place Us Academy.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, which
What is
coming.
that? What is that?
Please Us Academy.
Place Us Academy. It's going to be, similar to what we have here. You have the Bright Start or the Kid Start sort of programs for the little ones.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Trust
obviously.
SMA old boys, or just trust SMA to ask questions early, in the program.
Well,
They
that's
stamped the
what we
authority
have,
already,
always
We heard the producer very
ready.
early.
Let me not say we.
Yes.
They are always ready.
Yes, they're always ready. But Nigel, you see right now.
Nigel.
I have to play host today as well.
Okay.
No,
Remind
Nigel,
me.
at some point you have to declare your affiliation. You know what I'm saying? You can't,
Excuse me.
that neutrality thing there, you can't today. Today it's too important,
Okay, Papa. Nigel, you see right now I talking plenty because when you see the guests come on, I'll be mute because
I
the discussion
understand.
doesn't sit well with my spirit, and it's four gentlemen from the SMA against only me from the Dominica Grammar School. So I'm staying in my lane today, Papa.
Yes,
Mwah.
yes.
Yes.
Don't worry, man. Men inside
Yeah, but
top.
I
You'll be
think
okay.
one thing is fundamental to the development of SME students is the graciousness of, they're very gracious. They're not,
The man come early in the program and start to the ball rolling with
It's
SMA
to give
already.
you early. Yes, yes, yes.
Man.
Oh, by the way, Winnie Green says good morning. Winnie Green says good morning to you
All
too, right?
No more talk for me.
Yeah. Good morning, Winnie Green as well. Nice to know you're on. Carl Kofi James says greetings. Hold strong, my DGS people. Oh, by the come of the program. Lauren Joseph, good morning as well. Kissa, she thought Ivona was from Cassie Bruce.
No,
she
I'm
was
not from
adopted. No, Lauren. Ivona not from Cassie Van Grand 4. Well, something like that.
Yeah, man. But Castle Bruce is a vibes to me as well. Castle Bruce is really a vibes, man. In fact, I have two sisters from Castle Bruce,
Rennick Thomas,
twins. So.
good morning. Rennick Thomas said, keep expressing the name SMA until sundown.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Yes,
Nigel,
good morning, Rennick Thomas.
I need to arrange a discussion with at least 6 past students of Dominica Grammar School, or maybe 8 or 10,
You
So Carlisle, come a while.
Yes, you have a problem this
Yes.
morning there, but
Kyla
don't
John
worry.
Baptist,
Don't worry.
we have to
We
do
shall
something.
represent.
Let me also
We
call
shall
Naf
represent.
Isaac. Let me call Darwin Telemark. Where's Irma
Yes,
Raymond
call Val
Joseph,
Coffee.
Gloria Lionel Walsh, Let's make
Yes.
something happen.
Yes. Plan
All
your
right?
reunion and something will happen.
Yes, we'll plan.
Here we go.
Oh gosh. All right. But Nigel,
But what's been going on for the week, man? How you been doing? Good?
yeah, pretty
Busy
interesting
week?
week. Pretty interesting week. Just looking at Erin, what she's doing now. Nothing really, But the seas are rough. So much so that
Yes.
L'Express
Stark
de Sale
reminder that
had to.
the hurricane season is upon us, right?
So L'Express de
Yes.
Sale
Is this the
had to call.
first major name
Yes,
one? Is
I think
that,
it's even,
yeah?
and
Yeah.
and it's unusual.
I don't think
It's
the others developed.
yeah.
Yeah.
It came on the 15th of what? 15th of August around that time. This
August,
week,
right?
it's
Yes.
kind of unusual though. Normally it's a very, very, very. But anyway, let's not say that before things have to change.
Yes. But we certainly wish all the folks who might be in the path, all the best, and hope their preparations have been done. Don't wait too late.
I see Muriel Stewart on, the lovely Muriel Stewart. So Muriel, we need to do something, eh?
Well,
Okay.
yeah, well,
Muriel Stewart, yeah, we need to do something.
I mean, her cousin as well is on Tutti,
Yeah.
so
Okay. Oh, Tooties are
yeah, she
cousin.
says.
Anyway.
Yeah, she said. Muriel tell you let's plan our reunion.
Of
class
course,
of
no, man.
87.
We should do that. Go on a cruise or something like that.
Yes.
Make it bigger than
Although
SMA,
Winnie says that DGS don't have the same vavum that SMA has.
But Winnie, that's not. I give you up, eh? I give you up. But Nigel, it's time for the Dominica corner. My turn, man.
Your turn.
Name and answer correctly, okay? Please,
Yes, if I do not,
just
I'll
give the
never
answer.
get there.
Please don't beat around when you hear the question. Just answer. Name the largest co-ed secondary school on island. Just give me the answer. That's all. Just give me the answer.
St. Andrews High School.
Wrong. Name the largest co-ed secondary school on island.
Of course,
Any
the
of the
Dominica
guests
Grammar
can
School.
answer. Let me put on the mic here of the guests in the studio
Yes.
there. Yes.
The Dominica Grammar School.
Okay,
DGS.
Dominica Grammar School. Okay, very good.
Yes, that goes without saying.
In what year was the
Second best school on the island. What's that?
Yes, boy. In what year was SMA founded? Let me see if they can answer that. Let me see if they can answer that.
You really want to ask
Any
me
one
that?
of you can answer. You can get help from your friends. Yeah,
I can
three
help
of them
my
there with
friends,
you.
But I know SMA will be celebrating like 96 or 97 pretty soon. So, Alvin, what year was SMA founded again? 19 what?
April 4th, 1932.
1932. 1932. Here we go. Yes. 1932.
Name the SMA old boy who promotes connecting the dots with passion and enthusiasm.
Oh man, Good morning to you, Miguel Murphy. We appreciate you. Yes, Miguel Murphy, SMA old boy, we appreciate you for promoting Connecting the Dots. No matter what the program is, no matter who the guests are, you make sure you let everybody know what's going on. So, thanks to that. Thanks to you for that.
Okay, what do I ask again?
Yeah.
Name the SMA old boy who is a former general secretary of the Civil Service Association, CSA then. It was called CSA.
I wonder, let me see. Yes, good morning to you, Alvin Thomas. Of course, co-producer as well of Connecting the Dots.
You haven't answered my question, You said good morning to Alvin Thomas, but you haven't answered my question, Nigel. I'm still waiting for you to answer the question directly. That's why I think just answer the question.
Which one, Alvin Thomas? I answer you, Alvin Thomas.
Okay, because you just said good morning, Alvin Thomas. I was wondering. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Tourism consultant Sobers Esprit, an old boy of the SMA, is from what part of the island?
Well, I mean, this village that never sleeps. So, Maho, good morning to you.
Yes.
Yes. Did I answer you well?
Yes. You're okay. You're doing all right.
Okay.
No, but
one more. You have another question?
You want to ask a question?
Your turn.
But I ask how many questions, Nigel?
Okay, my turn now. Let me ask you a question now. My turn. Let me ask you a question. Name the SMA old boy who co-hosts Connecting the Dots.
Nigel Francis Esquire. I have it right? I'm correct?
Yes, you're correct. You're correct.
Okay.
You're correct.
All right.
You are correct. You're correct.
Okay,
But
so
let me say good morning to who else now. Carl Kofi James on the big up Alvin. Michael Joseph Chacha Davis, good morning to you. Sat on the same bench.
Michael Joseph, Michael Gates? Yes,
Yes,
no, Michael
Michael
Joseph.
Davis.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right. Anyway,
Michael Davis. We call him
Michael
Chacha back
Davis,
then.
Cha Cha.
Yes,
You know a song?
yes.
You can remember that song, Cha
Chacha
Cha
was one. Listen,
Manawa
man. Chacha was
Kununuchi with you. Oh,
one of the first
yeah.
students who got involved in politics whilst he was at school. He went on the platform very
All
early.
right. Well,
I
interesting.
wonder how brother Jimmy know about that.
But let's bring on the guest, Nigel. But seriously, I mean, we have been joking around on many programs, that banter with SMA and, Dominica Grammar School. But seriously, it is a pleasure to welcome past students of a school that has had and continues to have a tremendous impact on producing successful and ethical male citizens who contribute to every sector of society. But not just that, because to have a conversation with past students who are working tirelessly to ensure that they continue to document the successes of this co-ed institution through a reunion is a tremendous feat we should not take lightly. So I'm an old girl of the Dominica Grammar School, but I had a close connection with the SMA for many years, from a tender age, for more than a decade. So it's really a pleasure to have, past students of the St. Mary's Academy on Connecting the Dots. It's not the first time. I think we have given them a lot of time. We have always opened up our doors to them. So, Nigel, your turn now, Dan. Choose your words wisely, when you talk.
We will continue to open the doors to them because
Choose
of
your
the
words.
importance it plays. I think it's not just because it's SMA. I think it's also because, in a sense, it's giving back to community, giving back to education. And I know all three guests, they've done that and continue to do that. So although they're giving back to SMA and they're, creating this SMA reunion, but I'm pretty sure when we talk to them, we'll recognize that their focus, although it's SMA, but it extends beyond SMA. It extends all the way through all educational institutions and community and Dominica by extension. So it's nice to have them. We'll find out from them their story, their journey. One of the guests, we've been trying to get him on for a while. We catch him today. So we'll find out a little bit about their journey, their story, what it was like back in the SMA, and why this reunion now and what's going on and everything else. So good morning to all of you guys that's linked up and joining and connecting. I am not seeing the other. Is Sobas in studio, by the way?
Is there in living color? Oh yes,
Is there in living color? Okay, all right. So we'll see all the guests in a little while on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Right now, we're only seeing Ivona and myself, which is okay. She will make sure everybody's on very soon. But let me start off with Mr. Alvin Thomas. Good morning to you. Thanks for joining. Thanks for connecting. How are we doing?
Good morning, Nigel. Good morning to you, and good morning to Ivona. I'm doing pretty well. It's a nice Saturday morning, bright and sunny, I would say, down in Atlanta where I am. So it's a pleasure to be here this morning. And like you said, you catch me.
Yes.
So that's okay.
Yes.
Looking forward to the conversation.
We're looking forward to a wonderful conversation this morning. I know it's going to extend beyond SMA and the reunion that this particular group is planning, the 50th anniversary and stuff like that, So we'll go to Joseph Tutigis. Good morning to you, my brother. How are we doing as well? Thanks for connecting.
Thank you. No, I'm doing good. I'm in TX. Yeah, just the weather is good.
Weather is good.
Nice and sunny. Hot though. It's very hot.
Oh my gosh. Your Tuti saying it hot. Amanda used to play football.
I know.
But we'll talk about that too. But yeah, it's hot. It's hot where I am as well. So yeah, definitely so. And of course, Ivona, you're gonna tell Sobers good morning, or you want me to tell Sobers good morning?
Yes, go ahead. I'm trying something there. Go ahead, Nigel. Tell him good morning.
All right. So good morning to you, Mr. Sobers Esprit. Thanks for connecting. We'll find out about your journey. How are you doing?
Yeah. First of all, I feel great being back in studio. It brings me back to the years I spent on between 9 and 10 o'clock every Saturday morning here at DBS doing motion. Nigel, remember that?
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh,
Yeah, every Saturday morning between 9 and 10. So at this time, we'd be in the studio bantering and doing our thing. So it feels great.
doing our thing.
Yeah,
We sure would. We sure would.
it feels
Yes.
great to be
Yes.
back again, but this time in a different capacity, speaking about our beloved school, our beloved alma mater, St. Mary's Academy. For me,
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So yes, we're gonna connect, man. We're gonna find out the story, the journey, everything. Carl Kofi James wants to also big you up, Subas.
Thank you.
And everybody else. So before we get into SMA, something we like to do on connecting the dots, and I'm sure if you've listened and you're part, we like to find a little bit, get the backstory before we get into the actual, the discussion itself, right? Because I wanna like a little Beth like me. So so let's go. Mr. Alvin Thomas, what part of Dominica are you from, sir?
Well,
Ask him plenty questions, Nigel, because you see today there, we have him. So, we have him. He came on for a short while once, but now we have him.
We get you.
I'm a Roseau boy. Must say Kawat Roseau, as they say. Born and raised in Roseau. That's where it all began, and until during the latter part before I migrated, I lived at Castle Comfort. But all my years I've been in Roseau, so I'm pretty much a Roseau guy.
Pretty much a Roseau guy. So tell us a little bit about the Roseau guy back then. I mean, was it like you go through the river, you go up on the Emsall side, and the cubing down the river? Yes, tell us.
It might take an entire program, but I will say that I had a very fulfilling life in Roseau. Did all the things that Tikawat Roseau fair. Going mango under power, rolling sec, shoveling folks, doing the whole 9 yards. Went to started off at a very, very, very young age at Teacher Rose, then went to mixed school. From mixed school went to Roseau Boys School. From boys school went to SMA.
You don't mention that yet.
Nigel, the addiction is there to mention those letters.
Yes.
SMA. I mean, I know I might have a little problem with that. Just a little. But yeah, but basically I grew up in Roseau all my life, and was involved in a number of things, school, out of school. So basically that's who I am and what I've done over the years.
But I mean, during your time, and Sobers, take note of the questions because they're coming to you as well, and Tuti. So during the time that you were growing up, like in Roseau and everything else, I mean, what was the community like? Was it a situation where the elders were in charge, even if you had your parents? What was it?
Absolutely, Nigel. I mean, you may not be as old as us yet, but definitely that's what it was. I mean, you could in any way disrespect your elders. As a matter of fact, if one of your elders corrected you for doing something out of the way and you go home and mention to your parents, you get another correction. That's basically how it is. They were never on your side. They were on the elder's side. C'est question de café qui fait yo tenipu,
Batukosa.
So, and of course, it was a complete different environment. Bear in mind, of course, we were growing up at a time with very little distractions. I mean, now there are a lot of distractions, in terms of that cell phone and all that stuff. And what that did also, it created a real community because folks played sports, folks played stuff, they went hiking, they knew all over the country. I remember on weekends as a young, I believe I just started SMA. Kelvin Roll, a bunch of us, Rosalind Severay, she's listening. We'd go hiking every Sunday. We go to a different spot of Dominica, one to Apito, one this, one that, T2 Gorge. I mean, you name it. So we did all of that. And like I said, we did the other things that young kids do. For example, I mean, it rain, a heavy rain, a big rain come down in Roseau. We bathing in the street. We under the rain, We go under power. So there were so many things that we did. We walked a lot. Our diet was also different. I mean, we didn't have KFC in those times, so we had to eat what was provided. In addition to what we got at SMA, the Big Sun coconut cheese, you know. So it was yes, it was, as they say in that term, it took the village to raise a child. That's basically what it was.
I really think he was a troublesome child when he was during that time.
I suspect. You know, I see that, Nigel. For some reason, I see that. You know, I mean, he would have mellowed down after a while, but I just get the sense that Alvin was a troublesome guy.
Well, at some point in the conversation this morning, I'm sure we may spend a little time and talk about the 70s.
Right, of course.
We are the children of the 70s.
Yes.
What transpired in SMA. Some interpret it as being troublesome or rubberizers, but we were of that period.
Yeah, so you
were the ones that brought that change that took place in SMA several years after.
Man, Nigel will have stories. We'll get stories. Yeah. Because as Alvin is saying this,
that might be a little part of it there.
There should be. Because as you're saying this, Nigel, as you're saying this, I'm also thinking, because there was also the rise of the dread phenomenon, you know, and a few years later, there was this tumultuous period in Dominica's history as well. So I'd like to find out sometime later on the program what was happening inside the classroom as a result of what was happening outside on the national front. But we'll leave that for a little later.
Yes, we'll definitely come to that, you know. Sobers. So you see the questions we asked Alvin, because we like to connect the background.
Sobers,
you know,
Nigel,
so
Sobers.
I originally said, of course, you're from Maho, but is that true?
What? I am from Maho, of course.
That's a question? Come on,
yeah,
Nigel.
I mean, that's a given, Nigel.
So tell us about Maho. I mean, at the earliest stages in Maho when you were in kindergarten.
But before I talk about Maho, I think we need to put this whole thing in historical context. Yeah. Because I like to give context.
Oh yes, that's you. So
let's understand that we were born at a pivotal time in Dominica and the Caribbean history. Right, it was a time of great challenges for Dominica, for the region. We were trying to find ourselves as nations. Well, we were not even nations. Yeah, we were small dots on the map. We still are, but at that time, talking about 1960s, 1970s. We were really unknown entities in the global scheme of things. Dominica was faced with tremendous challenges, economic, social, and of course political challenges. And that is what helped define that period, yeah? So we need to understand the period of the late 60s and early 70s to understand where we came from as students of the 1970s and later on. So I think we need to establish that first of all. I don't want to know historical lesson, Nigel, but just to give it in context. Just to give it in context. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important. Yes.
So we grew up at a time when we're talking about poor infrastructure around the country. You know, whether it was water, electricity, road, transportation. That was the Dominica at that time. We were really hewers of wood and drawers of water. Most of our people really did the basic to survive. Most of our people, we know, the survival was around agriculture and rural life. So the greatest part of Dominica was really rural, for the most part, except Roseau and surroundings. But once you leave Roseau, that was it. You were country. Yeah. We were called country, even if I'm from Maho, 5 miles away. We were called country boys, you know. And if you come from Grand Bay or La Plaine, it's even worse. So that stigma about country book, you come to town to go to school and so on. But that was the time we lived in. So we need to understand that. So that's the context in which we lived in the 1970s, late 60s, 70s. So Maho, like most villages, particularly on the West Coast, had a particular kind of personality, a certain kind of weight looking at this community. First of all, we were a very transitory kind of community. Everybody had to pass from Maho to go to the north and vice versa. So that's one thing. That's what defined us. Most people lived on a narrow strip across the road, close to the sea and right across the road. We didn't have buildings in Belfast and in Jimmeat and those places. That's only more recent. So most of the people really stayed on the road. That's why people say, Maho people are always on the road. Because that was our domain. The road, that's where we stayed. We spent time. We played cricket. We played, well, not so much football, but cricket and other things on the road. We hung out there. We had, Carnival was big in Maho because of that. Because we had this thoroughfare that so people used to come from St. Joe, from Salisbury, Collyho, Portsmouth to Lime in Maho for jam sessions, for Carnival. Of course, we had one of the biggest bands ever, Bells Combo. Came from the 60s and early 70s. So that was Maho. But I think, like most communities, there are three things that really epitomize community life: church, home, and the wider community. And they were all intertwined. Church was Catholic church, for the most part, except maybe one or two people who were in Jehovah's Witness and a few others. But most of us, we were proud Catholics, and so those of us who had aspiration for bigger things, we joined the Catholic youth movement, the pre-YCW, and that's where we got our grounding. Home, and Alvin made the point, it was a village that raised the child, that raised the kids. We had to adhere to the norms and the values of the wider community. You had to behave in a particular way, or otherwise you get smacked. And of course, and the community was cricket. The community was, we talk about bathing in the river, we talk about bathing in the sea. Everybody, like all the kids would be in the sea now, summertime, would all be bathing in the sea, swimming in the sea. So community life was cricket, was bathing, was sports. Cricket was a big thing. Cricket really brought the community together. Every child plays cricket in the community. Every boy in particular played cricket. You had to play something. You had to whether you try to bowl leg spin or off spin or be like Tutti or whatever, you had to play cricket to survive in that community. You had to learn to swim both in the river and in the sea, So community life was very important because that's what helped to sustain life and to sustain living at that time. And of course, education was seen as paramount. And those who could support their kids' aspiration for higher education did so in many ways. They made huge sacrifices to send their children to high school and so on. But we had limited access to higher education. Let's understand that. Only a handful of Dominican kids could go to high school because we only had a few spaces for the hundreds of the kids from the masses who could go to high school. We're talking about St. Mary's Academy, Convent High School, the Wesley High School. These were the schools. These were the high schools. So limited spaces. You
mentioned the Dominican Grammar School?
Yeah, I said grammar school.
Sobers.
Okay.
You made a fundamental error there, boy, Sobers.
St. Mary's Academy. You
said Wesley High School and Wesley High School. You did not say the Dominican Grammar School. I know it's an error on your part.
Okay, well,
but I just had to draw it to your
Dominican Grammar School, yeah.
Okay.
Only secondary school on the island, so we can't miss the grammar school. And even then, grammar school was only boys for boys, eh? For the most part. Co-educational start came later, It came later, late 70s and so on. So only a limited number of kids could go to high school, folks. In my time, only about maybe 3-4 of us went to high school that year. So that was the period in which we lived. So we grew up at a time when of great challenges. No pipe-borne water in our homes, no plumbing. So you had to do everything outside of the house, You had to wake up early in the morning to go to the river to have a shower, to have a bath. And then to hustle to get to school, to high school, if you're lucky enough. So I think we need to understand the context and so when we come to talking about how we ended up at St. Mary's Academy, we need to understand that it was for us in many ways a privilege.
That journey was,
it was a privilege in many ways for those of us who went to high school from the 50s, 60s, 70s. Of course, times change, things evolve, more spaces were created, grammar school had the co-ed system and so on. We had other schools coming on the scene, but it was a difficult time. So.
Interesting.
It was.
I just felt it was important for me
I like this.
Yeah, we'll definitely explore that as well in terms of, you know, I mean, how that contributed to, you know, I mean, you guys being at SMA and bringing that same energy into SMA and everything else.
And whether
Mr. Joseph Tudigis,
yeah, and also whether
sorry, go ahead.
how it impacted our life at school as well, success or failure, if you want to
Yeah,
measure it
yeah,
in those
because of-
ways,
yeah.
because that had big impact on
yes.
kids. A lot of kids went to high school and they didn't make it beyond second form. Folks, some of them, many kids drop out in first
Drop out,
form.
okay.
You know, so we can talk about that as well.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Joseph Tudigis, man. You representing the which community?
Yeah, Harlem. Never forget.
Never
Well, that's
forget
where I
Harlem
grew up.
Wilson area.
Yeah, that's where I grew up, Newtown. It was a really interesting time for us too, you know, growing up around that time. And as Soba said, you know, kind of privileged to go to SMA. Very few people did. But I think what it did was it really gave us a sense of responsibility, right? The older guys in the community, they really, there was that consciousness because, you know, there were some guys who were at UE and, you know, other universities, and that was around the time of Black consciousness. So I think that was injected into our community, you know, the idea of doing stuff that benefits the community. So going to SMA, you kind of naturally kind of emerged as a leader in your community. So I was very involved in community activities, and you know the guys who were the older guys were kind of the guides, but then you know they would kind of let the younger guys go do the work, and then would have to come back and report to them. You know, we did a lot of things in the community growing up. I mean, I played soccer, but that's just the tip of the iceberg, right? That was just something that we absolutely enjoyed and we were well known for. But is the you know I think what stuck with me is the community activity that we did. We had literacy programs, we had food programs, you know, we did a lot of festivals to raise funds. I mean, you know, I mean, I think you can maybe say, I don't know if that's before your time, right, Nigel?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Harlem festivals and all that stuff and all the activities that we did, you know. It was fun. But I think what it did was taught you leadership skills, right? You know, even now, the environment that I work in is Native American casinos I work with, right? The idea of, you know, is very satisfying because, you know, whatever results that we bring to them is for a community. It's not just for a shareholder who has no interest in anything except the finances, right? It's for the community where they can build schools, they can build roads in their community and generally develop the community. So I think that preparation, you know, was good for me, you know. And I always say that I don't know in the corporate environment here if I would have the same growth and you know and development that I had working in the Native American community, you know, because you know there's more sensitivity to minorities, of course, because they are one. You know, I mean, there's more of an embrace. So yeah. But I think the structure that I developed growing up, and just like you know all the other kids, we would go get mangoes growing up, you know, go under power like Alvin was talking about, you know, and just being outside when it rains again, playing soccer. But that was our thing, right? Because soccer was big in the community. Not so much. Sobers had cricket, we had soccer. There were few people who played cricket, you know, and I played cricket too. But soccer, man, football was the thing, you know, in that environment. So, but growing up was good. Growing up was extremely good. We had good leaders, you know, in the environment, and you know they held us to high standards because you know we'd have to go and do. We would sit down, and even before I would sit down in the morning with the guys, they would give me my assignments. I would have to go all day and try to do everything I could, and come back in the evening, and then you know I would have to report on what's done, and but just the growth and the sense of community that I developed there, I think that has served me well, you know, in my life.
Yes. What about the Boetica connection? Somebody says.
Oh,
don't
yeah.
forget the Boetica
Oh, God, I
connection,
can't believe I
Matthew.
left that out. Well, my dad was from Boetica, and I used to go up there in the summertime, a lot in the summertime. So I would go up and hang with my dad, and my dad was very much into agriculture, but for some reason, he wasn't so big on me being part of it. I mean, I was of an age where I could help with things with the cutlass, but he never was so big on me being, he just want me to sit and talk to me. I think he was big on just talking to me about things, but not getting me so involved. I mean, he was so scared I would cut my. What was he thinking? You know what I mean? And but I really enjoyed going there. I had a lot of friends in that area, Roy Pascal, Lloyd Pascal, and all these guys that I, grew up with, they both went to SMA too, so that was good, and yeah, it was, I played cricket up there too with some other friends, and so it was good. In the summertime, it was nice going up there, and I think the only challenge, I mean, that was the challenge there growing up, is having to carry water. Oh my goodness. That was rough, man. Like we would have to go down in the river, especially when in the Karam season in the summertime the water in certain areas dry up. We would have to go all the way to the river and carry water on a Sunday afternoon. Man, that was the toughest time. It was difficult. Have to put it on my head and walk. I mean, we had to walk about probably a mile and a half. That's pretty, and an uphill too. And it's not flat, it's uphill, right? Going up river all the way up the village. But hey, you do what you got to do. And,
I don't
Made
think
you strong.
Nigel, I don't think you had those days, but as you were saying that, I was just remembering like Marak in Grand Four, and like that's what we had to do. Have your jerry cans of water on your head.
yeah, the jerry can, oh my
And
God.
going downhill and uphill, and like a mile and a half, and just walking in the hot sun, but you have to do it.
Especially on a Sunday, man.
Yeah.
It's almost like Sunday. The sun was hotter on Sundays, I'm telling you right now.
But it's interesting, Nigel. It's really
But as
interesting
you
where we are
mentioned
now.
that, though, I mean, both as you and I both mentioned that, though, I'm wondering, I mean, if the kids of today, because they don't have, I'm not going to say those hardships, but they don't have those experiences of having to do those things. And so they take a lot of stuff for granted now,
That's it, Nigel. That's it.
you know?
Because the things that we had to do before, and as compared to now, I mean, if just getting up to go to school, before you go to school, you have to wake up early. You had a routine to follow. You had, you had to
Yeah.
ensure that you clean the yard and
yeah.
whatever. Get your fiber from the mattress that you were sleeping on to wash your pots and pans and ensure that it shine. And things like that. You had to go and throw some stuff. Anyways, it was just so much, and just to
Different
make that
time, yeah,
connection. And just to bring back, just to relieve sort of these things, it's really, wow. That's
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
That's community.
It was a different environment, absolutely. I mean, even like, Tuti talking about carrying the water in Boudica, but even us in Roseau, in Phil's Lane, for many, many years, I grew up there as a young boy, and we had no pipe-borne water at the house where we were in Phil's Lane. We had to go to the standpipe to collect water. And you had, on top of that, you had those, those galvanized buckets. We didn't have plastic buckets. The bucket on itself is heavy already. Can you imagine when that has water in it?
And so Nigel, I even met that when I was a young girl as well. So you see, we stayed in that period for a long time though.
Yep.
Because I met
Yeah.
it. I
Yeah.
was doing it as well.
that's
Interesting.
Yeah,
Here's the
and I
thing. It just felt natural, didn't it? I mean, it was no, it's almost that's what we knew and that's what we did, and we did it selflessly, and you know what I'm saying? It was just, it was, I don't know, it just felt natural. I think it's like an organic plant, right? Normally, when you have fertilizer or you have, what you call it now, pesticides, it creates such a environment for the plant that the plant doesn't have to struggle to grow, right?
Yeah.
So the nutrient content in that plant is not as strong and as potent as an organic, plant, which doesn't have all this, it has to survive in every environment. It has to survive. It has to. So the nutrient content is a little more potent because it develops all kinds of antibodies too. That's what I think we are. I mean, we're the organic plants, in our time and before us too, of course. But I think that period there was really, really shaped our lives, and
Of
to
course,
the
so but come in the discussion as well, because I know in Maho you too, you had your fair share before you went to school, the things that you had to do to ensure that you arrive on time, but
Yeah.
you had your routine to follow every morning as well.
Yeah, I think that's why I said that's what defined the period in which we lived. That's the period of the 60s and 70s, and as Alvin said, those even before us, those who came before us, we stood on their shoulders in many ways, because that was survival. You had to survive as a society and as a people. And I think it helped later on to usher in, programs for change, build youth activism and solidarity and collaboration. And it forced people to, at the community level now, to find solutions to those problems, those challenges that we face as communities, as country, as a region. Now, the important thing is, the question is in terms of leadership, and I think that is where the SMA connection is important, because SMA was able to provide a kind of education, a kind of training to help in bringing or developing the human capacity that was required for the change that was necessary in Dominica in the 60s, 70s, and beyond. And so that institution was pivotal, was crucial for the redefinition of country and of self in many ways. So many of our leaders came from St. Mary's Academy and Grammar School, of course. And clearly, so what we had happening was a survival culture. Tuti spoke about the survival. And at the same time,
so, but I don't know. Maybe I'll give you a chance to clear your throat and let's see what happens. But Nigel, I don't know. You see that SMA would there that just come in there every time. I think I tired here SMA. So let us say this school, man. Let us say this school.
But I mean, and again, I mean, putting everything into context and the whole SMA. And the reunion and what's going to be happening, but laying the foundation for that as to what, what you guys had to go through and all others around that time went through before they entered into the doors of SMA. So, that's very important as well.
Let me just highlight
nothing to do for a conversation. Totally.
But what's highlighting something? Let's hear from him. And we have. There's so much we want to discuss in this short space of time.
There's a lot.
Yeah. So I was saying that so two things. So we had in many ways a sort of a convergence of two things. One, of resilience of community. We had to struggle against the difficult situation that we face with as a society, as a country. And at the same time, we were able to inspire each other through community efforts, through community organizations, through social, cultural activities, because culture and heritage help to also define the society, whether it was be folk culture and then theater and dance and music. That was part of the society as well, in a big way. We talk about sports culture as a major part of integrating and building communities. And at the same time, we had the necessity of organization, of building a leadership that helped to bring about the change that was necessary. So political leadership, community leadership, national leadership. So a number of things were converging at the same time, folks. Yeah? And so for us who went to high school, we were seen as natural leaders in the community. So when we were part of the youth groups, we had to assume key positions in the youth group. When we were part of the sports clubs, we had to be part of the leadership of the sports clubs and so on. A lot of people looked up to us to provide the leadership. And Tuti made the point in Newton and in Maho and in other communities. So in Maho, for example, there were a number of people who came before me. And people like Emerson John Charles, people like Gordon Morrow, my cousins Francisco and James Esprit, and many others who before me was seen as natural leaders because they got the high school education. Of course, I have to highlight Elkin Henry as one of those mentors and stalwarts in the community that helped to inspire and build a kind of new cadre of leadership that was coming out of that community. And that's why it's important for the community to work to see us as part of them, and for us to see ourselves as part of the community. We couldn't be divorced from what was happening in the community. So we have to bear all of those things in mind, and then to pivot that now to going into St. Mary's Academy and the experience there.
Interesting, Nigel. And there's another conversation as well that's happening on, on Facebook and on YouTube as well. So, Nigel, I think we need to capture some of it.
Not only a conversation, people reconnecting with their old boyfriend and old girlfriend.
Yeah.
Story.
And this brings into essence.
Joseph gives Tuti an old girlfriend say hi. I don't want to call her name because you say you were old girl or you were old girlfriend, so I'm not saying too much about that. But anyway, it's connecting. She from Newtown. She says good morning to you. Nice seeing you again. Been a long while. She hasn't seen you. Marshall SMA says,
say hello. Say hello.
I said hello to her too. I won't call her name, but hello to you. It's nice to know you're connecting. It's nice to know every Saturday Ivona and Nigel do it for me on a Saturday. Connecting the dots is what it is. So good morning to you. He says good morning too. Marshall SMA, see what connecting the dots does. It connects people. Marshall SMA left a positive impact, well equipped for life. Colbert Pinard, good morning to you as well. Appreciate you joining in and connecting. All that is SMA old boys that, saying hi and everything else. Carl Kofi James says, yeah, all those things made us strong, gave us character and a great sense of purpose. Sonia Charles, memories, we work so hard. And there's no water available. Kids refuse to wash their clothes now. They don't have to carry big buckets, but now they refuse to do any work. She says, good morning. So, I mean, as always, there's a conversation within the conversation happening on the book and on YouTube as well. So, good morning to you, Elizabeth Thomas. Ivona, we have to represent you today. Yes, don't worry, we represent Ivona today. It was going to be tough for you, but I know you got
Papa.
it. Of course.
It's all right. It's okay. I just planned it in my head. You know what's going to happen very soon.
Part of SMA.
What's going to happen very soon? Because we'll stand and we'll sing our school song with pride and purpose. So I hope. By the way, any of you remember the school song? Alvin, Sobers, Tuti. Any of you remember your school song?
Oh,
Maybe
yes.
not.
Oh yes, but can we sing it? That's
But of course, but I want to sing it at least. Well, I know it myself. I know the SMA school song by heart.
Yeah.
Even before I went to Dominican Grammar School, so just imagine that. Because as I said, I had a close connection with SMA. So like sing a song, sing a line for us, man, sing a verse or something.
Alvin.
Why are you doing that to me?
Alvin.
Why are you doing that?
Alvin.
Okay, just recite it like a poem. Just recite it like a poem.
We'll take that in the end.
Okay, we'll live in a blaze of glory. Okay.
They're going to practice.
But let us talk about SMA.
Yeah.
Let us go
Yes.
there. Let us talk about SMA and what it meant for you as young boys, entering the doors of this august institution. And look at where you are now. So let us look at the school setting. What was happening at the time when you started to the time when you left? And as we mentioned earlier, of course, Dominica was already on that path to enter in a tumultuous period in its history. And we spoke about the Dread Act and the Dread phenomenon, and so many things that was happening. And I asked earlier what was happening at the school, whilst, so much was happening on the outside. So let us go to SMA now. Let us don our books and our bags and everything, our uniforms, and let us go there. Let the conversation start with SMA. Tell us about that.
Alvin, you're the leader. Alvin, you're the leader. Start.
Well, if I may though, I mean, you heard from Sobers, from Tuti and myself, and I think all of what we have said so far embodies in our school motto. And in terms of what it means and some context. So for our motto is ora et labora. It's a Latin word which means pray and work. And ora, it calls to ground our life in faith, spirituality, moral values. That's basically what it is. It has nothing to do with any particular religion. It emphasizes the importance of prayer, reflection, and seeking guidance from God in daily life. So no matter where you are, there's this higher being, whatever you want to call him, that you reflect with, you meditate, and you seek guidance. Now, labora, which is work, is a reminder of dignity of work, discipline, study, service. That's important, service. You heard me talk about all the service he did. It stresses perseverance, hard work, and responsibility as essential to personal growth and community contribution. So together, when we say ora et labora, it reflects that balance between spiritual life and practical effort, teaching that true excellence comes when faith inspires action and work is guided by a higher principle. So that pretty much encapsulates what Sobers have just said, because SMA, and when we enter the doors of SMA, those of us who've gone there over the years, it embodies and instills a certain value of discipline, service, leadership, and excellence in its students. So when someone like Nigel graduates from SMA, he automatically, he automatically gravitates towards getting involved in theater and other stuff. Tutti automatically sobers. Several other persons. I mean, in my case, for example, I graduated in 75, 74, 75, and I joined the public service in 1975. And by 1977, I got elected as assistant treasurer, at the Civil Service Association as a young man. I got on the executive of that powerful trade union at that time, at that tender age, because SMA had instilled in me that leadership already, which I got, and felt confident enough that I can serve at the level of an assistant treasurer, at the executive level. With a public service union at the time. I was just a young public officer, joined like a little junior clerk. But here I was the assistant treasurer on the executive. And I moved throughout the years from assistant treasurer to finally general secretary. And the rest can go on in terms of my own involvement. The same can be said for Tutti and Sobers and several other persons. So as we go into the SMA, this is what is provided to us. And therefore, we just felt that we had that impact so much that looking back 5 decades now, 50 years, that's a long time. I mean, don't start to do calculations, but 50 years, it's a long time. And we felt, but you know what? We definitely need to come back, not just for us to meet as the students of the 50s, but with that same spirit of giving back again and leadership. What can we do to further develop SMA, give back to our alma mater? And obviously, throughout the conversation, you might hear some of the initiatives that we are going to be involved in, and we continue to be involved in. Quite apart from the reunion, as you know, Nigel, you're part of it. We have this huge initiative that we're undertaking with the school, and every one of us here involved with that. So I think that is the context within which we as SMA boys, and many of those who are listening now, and earlier clock, I want to send this appeal out to wherever you are, SMA old boy, wherever you're listening. If you don't join that reunion, trust me, bro, you'll be missing out. It's the first. We've never had a reunion. It's the first in the 93 years of the school history. You better get on board and get involved.
The first reunion in 93 years of history, that's what you said?
Yeah.
93 years in the school, the formation of the school, the SMA. But in our reunion is a 50-year lifespan, 5 decades since we left that institution, and we are now seeking to have some sort of reflection and celebration.
Yeah. But so as from in terms of a historical perspective, we're coming into SMA in the 75, 74, that period of time. Not only in Dominica, but throughout the rest of the Caribbean, we have this consciousness, we have the Black Power movement, we have the whole issue of maybe saying, the brothers should leave and who should come in and who should be the principal.
So much was
all
happening,
those things
yes.
were going on at the time.
And even during that period, Nigel, history notes that I think it was in 1974 that Edward Libla retired as chief minister, and he was replaced by Patrick John, something like that.
Yes,
so history was so rich then.
Yeah, it was a political thing.
And Patrick John is the SMA old boy, yeah? Patrick
Yes.
John is an
Yes,
SMA.
yes.
He taught at SMA too for a short period.
Yes.
So yeah.
So but in terms of all that, I mean, entering SMA during that time and being in SMA during that time, what was going on? What was it like to be part of that whole milieu?
Yeah. So I think Alvin gave a good background, put the context in terms of why we chose SMA. First of all, it was all of these things, moral and spiritual teachings, the question of leadership, because you were inspired by people in the community and in the country you saw who had been to SMA and they helped to inspire you. Also the question of service. You see a lot of SMA graduates coming back and providing service and so on. They were involved in a set of activities around the country and so on. But as I said earlier, it is a convergence of things happening all at once, as you say. It was the challenges of the time. It was building resilience. But it was also political and social formation, building the human capital for Dominica's journey as a nation later on that would help to take shape. So we chose SMA, and I know for me, if I chose SMA, mainly, first of all, I was always clear that I wanted to go to St. Mary's Academy. There was no question about going anywhere else. I also wanted to go to St. Mary's Academy. And there were a number of reasons, as I said. That had to do with people who I saw inspired me and they had gone to SMA and so on.
Yes, SMA name there.
Also, the school meant something to me at the time, so I think that helped to get me into St. Mary's Academy. But having, entered the school, you recognize, therefore, then that, hey, it's not all, nice and dandy, it's not all hanky-dory. There are issues at play in the school environment, yeah? We're talking about a period, the early 1970s. We know what happened in the early 1970s in the Caribbean? It was a period of heightened black consciousness, of trying to define who we are as a society. And that was at play at St. Mary's Academy. So the older boys at the school were part of the movement for social and political change in the country. And that was the SMA we entered in 1970. For many of us at 11 and 12 years, we probably didn't realize that, yeah? But we end up getting caught up in that, in the throes of all of these things. But SMA had its own internal challenges, its own internal problems with the Christian Brothers, a black school. I mean, let's be very honest about it. A black school led by Christian Brothers who had a different cultural background and formation than us. And as I said, because of the period of the 1970s, globally, what is happening. And because of all of these things, it helped to shape the SMA, the early SMA of the 70s, maybe late 60s, early 70s. And by 1971, things got to a head, And we had the famous walking out of students in 1972, which they call the SMA Revolution, which was sparked by an incident between a brother and a student, which gave rise to that.
The SMA Revolution?
The SMA Revolution of 1972, all right? And but as I said, things were brewing up at the school, and it was because of what is happening in the wider community, but also what is happening internally at the school. And so if you had been to SMA, if you grew up in that time, you knew what I'm talking about, And so after that walkout, we know there were massive changes in the school. A new kind of leadership, a new kind of management. But Father Kelvin Felix, who ended up being Cardinal Felix, took over the management of the school. And years later, Brother Egbert Germain came in 1975 to really get the school moving and in a faster pace and a more effective management for that period of time. But the SMA of the 1970s was a difficult time, folks, but it was a great time in terms of the formation, in terms of the community, because we had a great student community. We reveled in sports, in the arts. The majority of the Calypso guys of the 70s, they came from SMA. Gordon Henderson, Fitzroy Williams. And if I start to call the names, it will take me another year.
I should have spoken to Sobers before, to set some rules. Sobers, we had a nice long conversation yesterday.
Oh my gosh. So, but that's SMA. and
So when
theatre.
recent time, you have Colton Tea, Daddy Chess.
Well, I was talking about the 70s.
Yes,
I mean,
Alvin,
our
come
time.
on, yeah.
Yes, Alvin. Yes, Alvin, you want to rub it in. Alvin,
Yes,
don't rub it in,
boy.
please. Yeah, don't rub it in. Dice and Shelly and the
Nigel, you see where you have me
no,
untidy?
no. But
You
no,
notice I'm not saying anything.
so again, SMA was the 70s was defined by a period of difficulties in the school internally in terms of the leadership, the management of the school, and which gave rise to the revolution of the 70s and the challenges in terms of educational pursuit, because the school had a lot of challenges in terms of delivering the quality education that it once used to. So by the late 70s, by mid to late 70s, a lot of things happened at the school, for good and for bad. Yeah. But in spite of that, we flourish in terms of sports, of the arts, of political activism, of youth leadership, of inspiring a new generation, calling them to service and to action.
Okay.
That was SMA
I'm
of the
looking
70s.
at the Facebook, and Noreen Joseph is saying, I remember Percival Marie
Percival,
and Romel
yes.
Lawrence
That's
at
right.
the forefront of the SMA struggle
Yeah.
in the 1970s.
Yeah. A whole lot of leaders emerged from that during that period. I mean, people like Desmond Trotter and people like Reginald Amor, who was recently Attorney General in Trinidad and Tobago, Herbert Volney, who was a minister in Trinidad and Tobago, and countless others, Emerson John Charles. Guys, it's a lot. You know,
It is.
it is a lot. I didn't talk about
foundation-
Alwyn Bully and Raymond Lawrence and Lennox Honeychurch. Alwyn did both grammar school and SMA, by the way. So,
Yes.
but they came from that experience. They came from the SMA experience.
Nigel, you want to another 2 hours, man?
Yeah, I
Well, yeah,
suspect
we should. But
But-
I mean, so Tuti, from your perspective,
Yeah,
though,
let's hear
I
from
mean, in
Tuti.
terms of being there during that time and having all what was happening in the country, in the Caribbean, even inside SMA and so on. What was it like for you at that time, though, during SMA?
Well, I was deeply involved in sports, also at SMA. But I think what I do want to say, in spite of all what was going on around us, I think it was still a focus on the education too. I mean, I don't think that focus was lost at all. But I was very involved in sports, and I think it helped me to go on and play football and soccer for the national team and all that stuff. But I think that's where I really, a lot of time was spent in cultivating that aspect of my life there. And but of course, there was the political stuff that we got caught up in. But then I think one thing that I remember from SMA is the relationship that I built with the professors. I think that stands out to me. Ray Harris, for instance. I just love listening to him talk, and he would just. A lot of things I learned from him. Just the way he communicates, the depth of his understanding of things. He was just so. And I think that helped me develop an appreciation of people of good communicators, that really helped me to. And then I think also it also piqued my curiosity in things, So education is more than just understanding the things that are taught. Is I think it's helping you develop the ability to be curious, and I think I've never lost that ability to be curious over time. And I think that's one thing that that I really learned from SMA, just that stuff. Yeah, but it was dynamic. There were a lot of things going on. It was a rich education. We learned, we were thrown into politics, and that I don't think that, yes, there were some relationships that were ruined, but I think we were resilient. We were able to bounce back and appreciate the institution despite what was going on. We loved the people that were around, all the people, like friends that we grew up. There was a lot going on. It was a very complex time, but you see, I think that complexity helped us become more holistic people.
I want
And I
one
think
of
all
you
that is what is going to
to.
go towards the whole reunion. Yes, I wanna.
No, I was just saying, I want one of them to take us back to a time at school days, obviously, sort of relive a moment. especially where discipline was concerned. Because of course SMA was well known for, its high level of discipline. So one of your fondest memories, something you can remember, it could be at a school assembly, it could be in the classroom, it could even be outside of the school. Just give us one of your memories of what you remember. Let it hinge on the area of discipline, obviously. Any one of you can
I mean, if I may jump first, I don't recall exactly what it was, but I know I got caned by Estrado, and it wasn't pleasant.
Brother Bassett.
Yeah, I got caned, by Estrado. And it wasn't pleasant, and I couldn't go home and tell my parents that I got caned. I dare not do that. So the discipline was really, really.
You could not do that, Alvin. Why? You could not go home and tell your parents
how
that.
How could I go and tell my parents?
No, I know, but I want you to say it. I want you to say it because it's important.
I was scared. I was nervous. I felt if I say that, they're going to ask me what, and she'll bring me to the school
to get another one.
And ask the brother, the principal, what happened? Why did he get caned? And may get a second meeting at home, But that's what it was. The question of demerits and detention. I got a few. We had real fun in the class. Very fun, of course. We can never forget Miss Mary would bring our recess, but that was secondary. Our main recess was our coconut cheese and bakes from Miss Mary, and guys would line up that would sell. Hail up to Kelvin Thomas and Rennie was listening. I mean,
I know why he was caned, because he stole my recess and I went to complain.
Who stole your recess? Who stole your recess?
Who
stole your recess?
It's funny, you can take take people from the streets, but you can't take the streets out,
Folks,
so he stole my recess and I went and I lodged a complaint.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it publicly because I was kind of scared a little bit from this guy.
But just going back a little quick.
No, Alvin, hold on a while. The recess thing. Let me just talk about the recess thing. Because
sure, go ahead.
Interestingly, folks, all three of us, we were from the same classroom.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I don't know who did it, who made a determination to put these three guys together this morning. Because we started in 1970 in class 101 and we went right for fifth form. So,
that's right.
But Tutti was notorious for having recess every single morning, my dear.
Yeah.
Every day.
Remember, the man came from the Harlem community,
No.
I'm
talking about Joseph Tutti Gis. And he used to share recess with the rest of the class. So you know how much recess his mother used to give him to come to school. That's all I would say.
But Alvin, in his streetness, whatever that is, hijacked the whole classroom, stole my recess. So, the protest was bigger than
So, yeah.
Nigel, Nigel, I was saying, let's just check the book again because I think it's busy. And some names will also come up, Nigel. I was reading one of the comments a short while ago. I think I lost it, though. But let us just see what the book is saying. Okay, Daniel Theodore is saying, yes, Nigel, it was great at SMA, but days I used to board and lounge at your home, Nigel.
Yes.
With Miss Maud, with Debbie Albert and others. I won't miss this reunion, and that's good. And he's also asking another question.
Good morning to you, Daniel, who was, as you said, my mama used to just have everybody, as sober say, from the countryside, if you want to put it that way. But everybody used to come at home because they didn't have somewhere to stay. So she would just welcome them and they would stay there whilst they were at school. So
but he's also asking, Nigel,
community center.
He's also asking what has become of Brother Jermaine. Well, we had Brother Jermaine as a guest once, and he was on not too long ago again, yes.
Yes, he's here, he's doing well, everything back home kind of, but back and forth here. But Brother Jimmy is doing extremely well. So good morning to you, brother. For all those that you cane and all those that you pinch your chest. Yes, he pinched my chest. Every time I see him, they remember you pinched my chest, but that was back then because he didn't want your shit to be. You see, that's the other thing about the SMA. And even today, sometime when I'm sitting, you might see me still doing this. That was from SMA days.
Button up.
If your shit was
button up.
He would pinch. He would just hold that and pinch that. And then even now I still do that,
And SMA as well. SMA has maintained. Nigel said SMA has maintained the crest, right?
Yes.
I know the Dominican Grammar School. I wanted the crest.
You see the crest?
The embroidered, yes.
Original crest.
Yes.
the original crest. Now you had to have it.
Hey, but Nigel, you boast that we,
buttoned
Nigel?
up there. You know,
Nah,
make sure it's well
man.
buttoned. That costs a lot, you know. That's used. If I was to sell that now, you know. So that was the original thing. It had to be make sure it's well buttoned up there, and if not, you just pinch that.
And on the right, and on the proper side of the shirt.
Boy, brother Jimmy, pinch me on the
Yeah,
chest
we
already.
can try.
There's a lot of boys who have marks. It pinch. But yes, Walkers wants to say good morning. Walkers says, what was that today?
No, I mean the discipline that now we laugh at it, but man, I mean even the
Yeah.
small things, I mean it just helped us. It helps us just become who we are, you know. I mean,
It did. It
Yeah,
definitely did that foundation, man. So Walker says, good morning, great discussion. He says, I want to don't feel no way. It's all about SMA today. DGS is a great school, but today it's our time. Ora et labora. Yes, Walkers, good morning. Nigel, you didn't get the memo to go bald-headed, man. That was not right.
Yes, sir. I'm even dizzy with all that estimate.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
dizzy.
sorry,
look,
unfortunately, my hair is still here. I'm still good.
Yes.
So.
Nigel, I can take a break. Boy, that estimate talk got me dizzy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
can I just say something?
Yes.
I know we're gonna come to it, but I want to introduce it. For people who are interested in the reunion, just go to St. Mary's Academy, class of 1974, 1975 alumni, and the registration forms on there. And you can immediately register. And here's the good thing: even if you're not gonna be there, we would love people to be there. But even if you're not gonna be there, but register, be part of it,
Yeah,
because
like
we're
this.
gonna have this one nice plaque that we're gonna develop, and where everybody who participated is gonna be recognized.
Yeah.
In this. So.
Yeah.
Well, since you bring it up, I
But
mean,
before we go to onto the
Yes.
reunion, Nigel, I think Tutti started it, so let me just continue it because
about the recess.
no, it's not about the recess.
No.
There was some.
Alvin, the one to remember
Yes.
that. Why are you bringing that back up?
So two things: the student community, that was a great community in spite of, as I said, in spite of the challenges, and secondly, there was some teachers. Well, to call them professors, we never call them professors in Dominica. Teachers who inspired us from day one. And Tutti spoke about Ray Harris. I think Ray Harris, although he taught us for Tutti less than a year, he inspired all of us. All of us who passed through that classroom of 101, 102. Ray would have been a major influence in them. And there were others during that 5-year period. I can recall people like Patrick Henderson, who was our French teacher in the early days. We had then, of course, people like Herbert Volney. For me, not Herbert, I mean Henry Volney, my history teacher, the best history teacher in the world,
taught me history
Mr. Volney. And then later on, people in the sciences. But
Yes.
I think the natural science teachers of Mr. Sorrento and Mr. Lance, they have to be highlighted for their efforts. They were tremendous.
Sure.
But they were not just not social or natural science teachers, they were leaders as well. Both
Cricketers too.
Yes, they were leaders in the school. They helped to get the school moving again, And so there were lots of teachers who really had a big impact on our lives. So I say Ray Harris, Patrick Henderson for me. Then we had some women who passed through SMA for brief periods. Miss Curtin, Noreen John, who's deceased, Ophelia Marie, who taught me for a short while. We had Miss Schools Latig, who was there for a short while as well. Of course, Heather, who's been there ever since. Is she still there at SMA?
I think so,
Oh, wow.
Yes, she is.
So can you imagine Heather was there
SMA
during
or-
our time?
Yes, Heather taught me as
SMA,
well.
Yes.
Heather is still
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. So there was some big influencers, teachers who influenced our lives and who helped to shape. We look up to them.
So, but as you're talking about women, and before we go on to
Yes.
get more about the
reunion.
reunion, just tell us about the journey from SMA on Turkey Lane, right?
Yes.
On Turkey Lane, and when you had to cross up to Queen Mary Street and then go on to Virgin Lane to go to the convent high school. What was that happening in those days? And how were you dressed though? What was the uniform like back in the day?
Yeah.
So let's go there a little.
Yeah. Well, there was always this natural connection between St. Mary's Academy and Convent High School. Hello. I mean, that is natural.
I like
So
also
you're-
give the politically correct answer.
Let me
There was a natural connection between St. Mary's Academy and Convent High School.
They're both Catholic schools,
Schools.
right?
That is the reason.
Yes, I-
You know, students from Convent High School came to SMA for 5th form and 6th form classes,
Yeah.
and vice versa. You know, I
Vice
remember.
versa. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
just yesterday I was speaking with Rick Augustus, and Rick reminded me that during that time he took some classes at Wesley High School and also Convent.
Yeah.
And Lennox Rock. Lennox is in Boston now. I think Lennox is coming down for the reunion. He took classes at Convent.
Yeah.
Because bear in mind to one of the things that as we spoke earlier about the revolution, if you call it that, we were really young kids, you know, man. I mean, this thing caught us in the 72.
Unaware.
Unaware. We started school in 70.
Yeah.
And 2 years into our school, going to 3 years, we got caught in that. The school got closed by the bishop in May of 72.
That's right.
Bishop Arnold had closed the school. And the school didn't reopen until September the following year of 73. So that was what we were struggling with. I mean, our education got disrupted for a while. Our parents were mad with us. Those of us, I know some guys, I won't call their names there, who got some licking when they decided to join the
revolution.
The protest outside the match and say, Moboyole Kolpu have demonstrated against Bishop Epi Leglis. You think of it that time. You were going up against the church hierarchy, you know, as young guys. So yeah, that's what it was. But the interchange with the schools, with the convent and the Wesley High School was always there. Wesley High School was right around the corner. And I mean, the girls, I saw a note there where Winnie Green asked if it's only a male event. No, Winnie. No, Winnie. There's going to be a male and girls event. We need all the girls to come back and reminisce back on those days, what we did and what, you know, and let me also say for the SMA as well, although it is coined the 74-75, students who may have been there prior, like 70, 73, 71, or you're invited. You're all invited to the party. Period.
Okay.
Come to the party, registered, invited. Let's celebrate. Let's have a great time. Let's reminisce, and let's bring back some of that reflection.
Yeah. Look, someone is asking if I had SMA. Didn't Ivos have SMA friends? That's what Daniel Theodore is asking. Yes, Daniel, I had SMA friends. As I said, I had a connection with SMA.
Oh, yeah.
And it steps way back because my mother used to work at Tropicraft on where the handicraft place.
Yeah.
And this place was owned
Very
by
close
Rosalind
enough to
Volney, the
estimate,
mother
yes.
of Herbert Volney. So obviously I had to have this connection, you know. And then my brother went to SMA and he taught at SMA. And I was even in the Joseph Court of Many Colors. That play that they had.
Of course,
Yeah, man, I was,
yes.
you know,
My brother
Yes.
John used
I
to
was
do
right
that.
there. I was
Yeah.
right there
Yes.
practicing and all of
Yes.
that, you know, and yeah.
Yes,
So
yes,
SMA.
yes. I mean, Ivona just doesn't want to say it, but she had, you know,
I was
SMA
always at
is,
SMA when I was a
SMA
little
is
girl.
next
I live
to
right,
the grammar
yeah.
school.
I live right there, so I had to be involved in
Well,
it.
well,
you see, it's a grammar school for you.
Nigel, she could have only done that CTD program with someone like a SMA from you know, as a co.
Hello.
And then Nigel taught me at
And
grammar
you
school.
want to go
Imagine
diagonal.
that. Nigel taught me at grammar school as well. So just imagine that.
Yes.
You know.
That's right.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
so let's talk
But
about
by
more
the
about
way,
the.
Norris says, you guys, did you have your short khaki pants?
Oh yes, I asked about the
tucked in their
dressing. but-
pants?
Yeah,
So
that
it-
dress.
You were short pants at the time. Your
No,
short
well,
khaki
in the
pants,
early
no?
days, it was short pants for certain up
Very
to
early, yeah, you
up
sent
to
it
up
when we
to
did
the
that.
up
This
to
is in form?
second or third
With
form.
the tie.
Okay.
Yes. No. We
Yeah.
well our group, our cohort was
Move into crest.
we moved into crest directly. We
Yes,
never used
yes.
tie. So it was short pants,
And the
khaki
jacket?
short pants for the first 3 years, and then long pants in the upper forms. You had to use leather shoes, no suede shoes. SMA had a lot of rules there, folks. You couldn't use certain shoes to come to school, or otherwise the brothers would send you back home, you know, and change it. In the early days, no afros. They tried to put a ban on the afros. That was part of the problem. So you have to
Nigel, that's why our hair is so
so you have to keep your hair. But of course, guys, we defy
trauma.
we defy that. That was defied.
It's PTSD, man.
Yeah.
When we started in 1970, Nigel and I, Ivona, and I'm sure Tuti and Subas will recall, in 70, we had an SMA cap.
Yes.
So obviously the cap had to fit in your head. You couldn't have a lot of hair. We had caps. When we started in 70, we had caps, we had ties.
Yeah.
In 70. And then by 72, when all this thing of Viva took place.
No. Tie didn't that last that long, my friend. Nope.
We gravitated to our shirt jacks and stuff, but we had a cap.
Yeah, the cap, but
this
no
cap,
tie.
Because
SMA students decided we're not using tie. Tie is not is for Europe. You know, so that was part of the SMA ethos, folks.
Okay.
That was the SMA ethos.
So I'm looking at the live as well, and Winnie's asking a very interesting question.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should ask it or Nigel should, but I'll go ahead.
Yes.
Don't forget to talk about the female teachers you guys had a crush on. I don't know if that's a high school thing.
Yes,
So
of
Winnie says to ask itself.
Of course, but not
That's
doesn't
what we
that,
need to ask it.
that's
Yes.
natural.
I was hoping that wouldn't be brought
No,
up.
but that's natural.
Well,
eh?
That's
Miss
natural.
Heather-
It's boys.
Miss Heather,
and-
I think all the young boys had a crush on Miss
But
Heather.
not only that, I mean, bear in mind, take Ophelia. Ophelia was a young
Pretty.
teacher. All of those teachers, they were
That's right.
young.
Yeah.
They had just graduated from convent or wherever, Heather herself, and came to teach us in the schools. So
That's
they
right.
were really young, good-looking, attractive teachers. So
And those
like
are the days of
anything
the
else,
short
you have
skirts, eh?
passion for boys.
The short
What
skirts and
you
the heels.
expect? There's going to be some level of curiosity and stuff like that.
Especially as it's an all-male school,
Exactly.
So, yes.
But having said that, I will admit that we were in very disciplined in how we went about it. So it was a situation where we exhibited any disrespect to them. We were curious, we'd whisper in each other as, boy, look at what she's wearing today. Why is she looking good? Or something like that. But we say that we didn't.
Talk for yourself.
Yes.
I'm thinking about those things. Don't be trying to put that in my consciousness.
Muriel Stewart, let me just call Muriel Stewart if you're still listening. I hope you're taking copious notes because we're going to plan something big. So
Hello.
we're going to outshine.
Not on
right?
our program, please, Ivona.
Okay, so I just have to call on Muriel Stewart. And
Ivona,
whoever's
not
listening
on
from
our
the
program,
Dominica Grammar
please.
School.
Not
Can we
on
move
our
on
We
from
need to
Nigel
make
to the
something
program?
happen.
Can we talk about our program?
Can I say something?
Can we talk about our
Yes,
program?
yes. The
Go ahead.
reunion
Talk
for
about our
SMA, not the reunion for the
SMA
okay.
reunion
Yes.
2025.
Yes.
We
So
start-
tell us
so-
about that. When is it? When is the reunion
Well,
scheduled?
let me just go back a bit and see. We've started that journey and that process. I would say maybe 8, 9 months, maybe 10 months ago. I would say.
About a year ago.
When the idea came up and we decided, a few of us got together and said, boy, that's fantastic. And while as I'm saying that, I just want to say hello to Jeffrey Brisbane's family in Miami. Jeffrey was that planning committee from when we started. He was excited about this thing. He started off with us on the planning committee. And then, of course, So we started that off and everybody was really excited. We had a Zoom launch back in May, I think, May, June, about, I don't recall. And we had some of our old teachers. We had at least, close to 50 thereabout or more on that Zoom call when we launched. Folks were excited. I mean, we were just reminiscing on those good old years. So we finally agreed that we're going to move forward with it. And the reunion is going to take place from the 11th to the 19th of October. And we have a packed program. Tuti will go over that program with us. But it's the 11th to the 19th. And let me again say, in response to Winnie's question, it's not an all-male event. Some of us, of course, are coming with our spouses, are coming. So it depends, but it's open to all SMA alumni of 74, 75, prior to 74, after 75. It's an open, because based on the activities that we're having and the events, it's open. I know one particular convent girl who lives in Atlanta who was at my house over the last weekend, and she said, look, I'm coming to everything you guys have. Everything. church service, everything. I'll be there. So it's open, Winnie, to all the ladies. Ivona, I know, is going to be there for all the events. There's no doubt. I know that. She's going to be there for every event. And so it's open. We want to do this to, as we say, to reflect on where we've come 50 years down the road. And think about it this way. I mean, we were, as Sober said, innocent young minds got into this school from all various backgrounds. We had folks from Plain, Grand Bay, you name it, from ITT Goodwill, Santa Roma, Rosso, Tinegozo, like myself, and we all came there. And 50 years down the road, we are still here. And most of us, many of us, have done exceptionally well in our profession, in our business, in what we have done as community leaders. I mean, we have done exceptionally well. I don't want to go down that list, but you can see, I mean, if we take a survey and you ask, well, who's this guy? Where's this guy? What? I mean, it was amazing. With doctors, engineers, architects, leaders, you know, just name it, business owners. Nigel, you know, of this young SMA business owner that wants to assist with the roof, an SMA alumni. So that is basically what the program would entail. So maybe I will just get Tuti to give an overview.
A little summary.
Summary. I'm chairing the committee as chairperson of the entire committee. So Tuti will give an outline as to what it is, and then Sober's. Tuti is the marketing guy. That's his forte. That's his expertise. That's where we are. Go ahead, Tuti.
Yeah, thank you. So as Alvin said, first of all, it's open to everyone, every alumni. You don't have to be in the current year 74, 75, because Sobers, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first of its kind, right? An alumni reunion for SMA?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So we want to make sure that as many people as possible participate in this. Now, keep in mind, even if you can't physically be there, we want you to register and be part of it. This is critical because then you can be recognized as being involved, as being part of this. And if you're interested in registering, just go to, I don't know if you'll see it on the screen, but Facebook page, St. Mary's Academy, class of 74, 75 alumni. So the Mary's Academy, class of 74, 75 alumni. There's a registration form right there. It takes you right to this platform where you can register and be part of the event. So yeah, we have a number of things planned, and you know, people are going to come from all over the country, and thank you for giving us this forum to share that information. So we get in on the 11th. So as Alvin said, the 11th to the 19th. There's an opening gathering on the 11th. Then there's a service on the 12th. There's also on the 13th, there's a cocktail night and reflection. And once you go on this registration form, all these details are there. So you'll get to, you know, become familiar with all the details of the activities. And then on the 14th, we're going to take a tour all over the island, just kind of reminisce, have fun, just hang out together. That's going to be fun. And I know this one is especially important to Sobers. There's an educational forum on the 15th. That is a big one. And one of the things that we're doing, and I'm really excited about that because it's tied to sports. We're going to be giving some sports some outfits and jerseys and all that stuff to SMA on the 17 and on the 15 group. Thanks to Birchie and Kenrick, Jean-Pierre, who are, you know, spearheading that effort. That's a great thing. I know Alvin also was talking about some soccer boots, and so we're doing everything we can to kind of just, you know, have something that makes some real-time contributions while we're there. Of course, you know, all funds raised are going to go towards the Egbert Germain wing of the is being repaired. So that's the overarching thing, but then other things will you know, the sports part, I mean, that's really important to me because actually, you know, that was, how should I say it now? going to SMA and being part of soccer and cricket, they really helped my career So I really excited about that part.
Yeah.
Then there's a reggae and Kadass night on the
as you say
16th.
sports day today, very quickly, what house were you in?
That's a good question.
Good
I don't
question.
remember.
Let's
St.
bring that
George's,
in.
I don't remember. I honestly don't remember. I know
Alvin, what house were you?
St. George's.
I think I was in St. George's too.
I think I was in St. George's and then St.
You
Francis
think?
and then St.
Oh,
Francis.
that's St. George's people. St. Ignatius was always the best house.
No, I was
But
never.
go ahead.
Yeah.
I was in St. Ignatius' house.
And then
so-
the big thing is going to be a concert and cultural showcase on the 17th. It's on the SMA grounds, right? Sobers, is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and then so I mean, it's going to be the whole idea of this thing is just the community, the opportunity to share experiences, and I think what will be good, especially for the students of SMA now, is just to see the results. I mean, we were sitting in those chairs at some point, right? We were sitting
But
in there at
SMS
some
stayed with the
point,
chairs and the
and,
desks for a long while too.
the background, have helped us to become who we are today, and just going back and sharing. I mean, it's just such a joyful experience. It really is.
No, Nigel, I was just saying that SMA stayed with the desks and those chairs for a long while, and the louvers as well. The
Okay,
louvers.
okay, my phone.
We might see those louvers as well.
Okay, yeah.
Somebody asked about those who are not on social media. You might want to give the email
Oh yeah.
and some contact.
Oh yes.
Information if they want to reach anyone
SMA
of us.
Old Boys
Yeah.
7475 at Gmail. SMA Old Boys 7475 at gmail.com. Just send us an email, and then we'll follow it up with a registration form that you can register and be part of it. Yeah. So.
Or you can contact us directly. Those of us.
Or you could
Give your
contact
contact
one of
information
of the organizing committee directly too.
Yeah,
That's an option too.
Yeah.
But we really not only that, but we don't only want you to become part of it, but we want you to spread the word also.
Yeah.
Let people know. Send them the registration form. It's really important. We really, really want this to be something special, because seeing that in so many years of the institution, there's never been one of those. So this is, yes, we are the organizers 7475, but it's really for all SMA alumni. It really is.
Yeah.
And we want you to be part of it. We want you to feel connected to this, and by registering, that's a real big first step. And we'll do everything we can to maybe promote this stuff on Facebook. And on the 28th, that's critical. On the 28th of August, we're going to have a countdown to reunion. It's going to be on
Via Zoom.
Kyrie is going to be carrying it on their Facebook page. We've asked TDN to help with that too, and hopefully maybe DBS, because they've given us some in-kind help in terms of promoting the event, can carry it too. And this we'll just go ahead and discuss the things that are happening, and just create the urgency over that time, so we get to the point where we're excited about it.
And just as you know, Ivona, Cecil Joseph, the manager of DBS,
Into
is
it,
where is he from? Nigel, what school?
St. Mary's
That was a
Academy.
question for
Yeah, yeah.
Ivona, right?
St. Mary's
Yeah.
Academy.
Gavin
What's
Richards,
wrong?
the sports
Remember?
editor, went to
Yes,
St. Mary's
Cecil Joseph,
Academy.
the
Yes.
manager of DBS.
Azari Williams and Gavin Richards, SMA. Yes,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Okay, guys.
Oh, okay.
So Alvin, Tutti. Okay, so I want to spend a little time to delve deeper into a couple of the activities for the reunion. I think it's important for us to highlight some of those things. The Monday activity, Monday the 13th activity is really the major
That's
starting.
13th of October, right?
13th of October. This major starting point for us. That night is a night of reflection and recollection. What we want to do on that night is to allow the alumni from 7475 to highlight some of those anecdotes, those stories, those recollections that help to define the SMA journey, but also help to define them as individuals as well, professionals as well. You talk about Ray Harris. We have asked Ray Harris to be our featured speaker on that night. And I know he's going to come with a particular perspective on that night, given Ray and his thinking, his perspective on issues. It is also an activity for us to do fundraising as well. We have a cocktail reception at the end. So we're going to be charging. We're going to be selling tickets for that night. Alvin, it is about $125. It is the price. The cover charge is $125.
Yes.
Tickets will go on sale for all the events in early September. Just to tell you. But that night is going to be a major fundraiser. So it's a cocktail reception and night of reflection to help us raise some much needed funds for the school. So that's on the Monday the 14th. And that will be held at the Public Service Union building, Alvin, your old stomping ground on Valley Road.
Yes.
We do a tour, and we're going to go around some key points around the north and northeastern part of Dominica, where particularly those from the diaspora, we will reintroduce them to the Dominican magic.
Sobers, real quick.
Hello. Yes. So
the cocktail night is open to everyone, right?
yes, it's a fundraiser. It's for everybody,
open to
anybody.
everybody.
Grammar school, SMA,
I just wanna
convent,
reiterate.
anybody. Supporters of St. Mary's Academy. But we have we're going to have a limited number of tickets available though. Just want to highlight that. It's only going to be a limited number of tickets. So you can place your order for a ticket for that night.
1,000 tickets?
No, we have a limited number. 1,000 tickets.
Hey.
No.
Just stick up in there. Just stick up in there a while. Gordon
No.
Henderson sent me a typical dress code in 1967. Papa met Nigel. No worry. What?
Okay, we'll come to Gordon in a while. We'll come to Gordon in a while.
Okay, we'll
You
see.
don't want to hear that.
Hold on. Yes. Okay. Then the Wednesday is also is fundamental to the reunion program. We are going to be contributing our own ideas on the whole issue of education reform for Dominica. We recognize the value of education to the development of this nation. What we want to do is to explore themes, ideas on what kind of education for a 21st century Dominica. An education based around science, on art, on technology, and engineering. But an education that is based on continued moral and spiritual values. An education that is based on looking at the economy that we are building and how we shape the education ethos going forward. So that night is going to be an important educational forum at University of the West Indies Global Campus, Dominica. It's a joint effort between us and UWI Global Campus. We have five presenters. Among them, I think we have 3 PhDs, including former SMA students and teachers. So we're going to have teachers, former teachers like Dr. Rose Keynes Larocque. She's going to be doing a presentation there. And we have Swinburne Augustine. We have Edmond Tavernier, an SMA alumni based in the US. We have Michelle Thomas. We have Michelle Williams. Sorry. We have Michael Augustine. So that is going to be a very powerful lineup of presenters for that night. So we are looking at the future of education in Dominica on Wednesday.
And so, as you mentioned that just very quickly there, because I think it might be from Ray Harris himself, who wanted to say, great listening to Lady Lugie, Brother Francis, and the panelists. I am proud of the panelists. They were good young men whilst at SMA, or they're great mature men. May God continue to bless them indelibly.
Thank you.
So, since you had mentioned Ray,
yes. Ray has been a big inspiration.
Proud of who you've become.
We've been proud of him, and I know he feels equally the same. And then the Thursday night, we are doing a special reggae and Kadaslypso night at the Paradise Pier. So, guys, put on your dancing shoes for that Thursday night. Again, a fundraiser for St. Mary's Academy, but it's a fundraiser of a difference. Reggae going to meet Kadaslypso. And there's an obvious reason for Kadaslypso, folks. We had some of our old boys from
Ambassador White.
Yes, yeah. We had people like Linford John. Well, Gordon is not going to be for us, but I know he'll be there in spirit on that night. And but it's a night for us to look at Kadaslypso and reggae meeting together, but to help to raise funds for the school. And then on the Friday, we're going to be doing an SMA Old Boys concert. Yeah. We have about 15 former SMA boys coming together to perform and to do their magic in terms of music. People like Dice, Shelley, Shadow Flo, Darrell Bob, Carlton Winston, my brother Senator, Kelly the Ghost Williams, and you can go on. So 15 top notch.
I don't know all the names that went to SMA.
No,
You
yeah,
listening?
Only,
that's okay.
this
That's
is only
okay.
an SMA.
That's cool.
This is an SMA
Let's-
Old Boys
let's
concert.
wait we have till we have ours.
Yes.
It's okay.
So we will put out. We will put,
Just wait.
we have 15 of our top SMA Old Boys in concert, and that will be held at St. Mary's Academy grounds. And again, this is open for everybody. Come and support SMA. We will be selling tickets for that show. We'll be doing pre-sales of tickets. $50 for adults and $25 for students. So come and support the school effort to raise some much needed funds. So it will happen from 6 p.m. on the Friday the 17th. And then on Friday also to wrap up the program, we will be hosting the local media in conversation on the impact of the week and things and generally about the reunion activities.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
let me just
so it's a full program.
And Sobers and the rest of the committee, very quickly though, is there anything planned for you guys to be at an assembly at the school?
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
the Tuesday.
Every Wednesday morning. What?
Okay,
Wednesday,
guys, let me
Wednesday the
just-
15th.
Let me
Wednesday
just
the
interject. I know Tuti, you have a point. I just want to just fade a while and bring on a picture of, I think it was what year Gordon sent me that picture of
67, you said.
1967.
because somebody has
It's
seen
not
the
too
other
bad, huh? It's not too
Yeah,
bad,
you
you
know.
know. But the pants are very high. Anyway, yeah, yeah, that's it now. You saying it? Yes, my people. Look at the guys.
And look at Gordon.
Which one is Gordon? Oh yes, look at Gordon.
Second
Yes.
from the right.
Yeah, but they look dapper, you
screen.
know. But I
Oh,
don't know the
yes.
pants.
Oh,
was-
yes.
it was too high though.
No man, them fellas cool man. Them guys
Yes,
look cool.
sir.
Man.
Alvin, can you see it?
No.
Them guys cool man.
You all
Well,
seen it?
it's if you go on the Facebook, you'll be able to see it.
Yes,
Um,
you'll be able to
Facebook,
see it.
okay.
Yeah, Facebook.
Wow,
And you
wow.
can always go back as well too.
Yeah.
But let me just be quick.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
This Sunday, we start off, I know Sober started off on the Monday, but Sunday we start off with a church service.
Yes.
A mass at the Roseau Cathedral. And hopefully we will have, as you know, Father Karam is an SMA old boy, the dean. Father John Lewis is an SMA old boy, taught us as well.
You don't have to say the SMA old boy. You could just say an old boy, Alvin. Like, come on.
SMA old boy. So we're having that church service on the Sunday, and we again all old boys, all friends of SMA at that mass, and following the mass, we'll have a brunch on the SMA grounds. Again, we invite everyone after service where we can come, we can have this brunch. It's been organized by the SMA staff and the PTA, the SMA students. We'll have this brunch where we can mingle, we can chat, we can chit chat. All of that is on that Sunday after our lovely mass, which we hope we'll have the presence, hopefully, of Father Nigel, Monsignor, John Lewis.
Make sure you say Father Nigel Karam, because
Yes.
just in case you don't want to, they might think that I moved.
Yes, Father Nigel Karam. Yes.
Yeah, man. Okay.
Of course, let me say good morning as well to the chairperson of the DBS board, who is also an old boy of SMA.
Oh yeah, Damien Dublin.
So Dr. Dublin, good morning.
Okay, well, we have already established the fact we're talking about SMA, right?
That's
Come
right.
on, just
I
leave on
wanna-
the SMA. Just,
I want to take that.
no, this is upsetting my spirit now. I mean, but it's in good faith, but by goodness, so many. Anyway,
Okay.
Why?
She's trying her best.
It's okay. It's okay.
To hold on. Like,
When it's your turn, we'll have this
It's
some
almost 11.
humility and just sit through it too. So we understand.
Bear with us for the next 2 months.
No, but it's good. I'm really enjoying this discussion. And we did not even talk so much. About certain things I would have liked us to raise. But
what I
Nigel, I'm
wanted to
just
ask them,
thinking though that we could always have them on next time. I mean, closer to the time itself. And we can continue that
definitely.
conversation.
So, but let me just ask you guys though, because we've had a lot of reunions going on right now. As I mentioned earlier in the program, we had St. Andrews, we had Castle Bruce's on and everything else. What is it about reunions that you think is creating that kind of vibe now? Why suddenly, well, not suddenly because we've always had them, but there seems to be a sort of an influx now of reunions. What is it you think reunions can do, for the school or for the community or for the country?
Well,
I think
can I take a stab at it real quick?
Oh, go ahead, Tuti, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I think I don't know. I get this sense. I don't know. I mean, it could be that there's a lot of uncertainty in the world right now, and especially for us in North America, you know. So I think there's an increased nostalgia with home, how things were. You know what I'm saying? The safety that home was brought, and I don't know. I mean, that I might be overstating it, but you know, I feel there's something, some aspect of that to it. Go ahead, Alvin.
No, but I think in addition to what Tuti just said, I think, Nigel, it provides that platform and that opportunity for us to be able to give back and help with the development of our country. So because I mean, as I said earlier, if we go across the board, all of us, most of us have been successful at various levels in business, in our professions. And we're at the point now, I mean, where we feel the urge, as what Titi said, to be able to come back and contribute towards the development of our country. So while it is at the same time a celebration, a nostalgia, reminiscing, it's an opportunity for us as SMA Old Boys to maintain that legacy, that school that have shaped us and formed us. How do we now ensure that the other young men coming now after us is going to have that same role and leadership? I mean, there is the question now of our young men. Some people feel, well, oh, young men are not doing as they should. They're falling on the wayside. As we speak, St. Mary's Academy is the only school in Dominica that's an all-boys school. Only school. Okay?
That's a what?
That's an all-boy, only boys, all boys school. Okay? All the other schools are co-ed school. So how do we ensure now that we can provide and give examples and mentorship to these young men who we hope one day will be leaders like ourselves, will be successful in business, will be able to give back? How do you give back to your alma mater?
You mentioned all the other schools are co-ed schools. Well, of course, there are schools that only girls attend.
But boys, all boys.
Well, all boys, yes, yeah.
Wesley.
Can I add, Alvin?
And St. Martin Secondary School
Yeah.
as well.
Can I add to that as well? Because I think what reunion does, well, once it catalyzes people into action, you know, it helps to build community. Because and Tuti made the point, we're living in a difficult time globally. Where people are uncertain. There's a lot of fear and about the future, and so people looking for new ways to solve old problems, you know, long lingering problems. A reunion would allow us to look at how we can best come together, mobilize resources, build partnerships, and create a collaboration. Just imagine 93 years of a school life, and we never had the opportunity to do that. I think that, in fact, really calls us to action, really, at this time. So we've been called to action, and it is not just a reunion for 2025, folks. I think the reunion have to also help to reshape and redefine how SMA community works in the future. We need to have a student association, alumni association.
Okay, so you can talk to me on that because we're good at that. Eh?
Yeah,
very good at that.
Yeah, we can learn from best practices.
Yeah, good at that. But you mentioned Sober's new ways to solve old problems.
Yes,
we can also go to old ways to solve new problems, you know.
Yeah, but there's some lingering
yeah, but there's
lingering problems.
Some of them will work, you know.
Yeah,
if you revisit some of the ways that we solved problems before.
Yeah, so some of these issues have been with us for 50 years.
Yeah.
And continuing.
To let it go.
And we've been over the last 50 years, what we see the sense of individualism, of fragmentation, and we think that because we went to SMA. Okay, our work will speak for itself, but no, the school needs us, the community needs us, our region needs us, the world needs us.
Absolutely.
At this time, that is what this thing is about. It's a call to action, folks.
I like this, a call to action.
So we can end with the alma mater. Nigel.
Oh, you're going to sing, man. Hey.
Kisa?
Yes. Yes, go ahead. I can join with all you guys.
Alma mater. Hail to thee, all hail. We raise our cry to glorify thy name where'er we be. To thee we owe
allegiance.
Abroad we spread thy
name. Throughout the world we
will
praise thee.
proud
Proud to
to
bear
thy
thy name.
name. You see, we know the song. You know?
Let's go to loving mother, trusting patron.
Are you continuing?
Okay,
Okay.
Alvin, all right.
Guide us
Full
year by
by year.
Ave Mater Dei, sing we all in accent clear. Saint Mary's
Mary's
alma mater, on high thy glory so. Saint
and
Mary's
Mary's
men go
mango.
forth again to praise thee evermore.
All right, and we have a wonderful piece
Yes.
of music that was put together by Cornell Phillip for the alma mater now. So, of course, Cornell went to SMA as well. But he has put together a wonderful piece of musical accompaniment for the school song. So
Yep.
that's happening. So thanks to Cornell for that. Joseph Tutigis and Sobers Esprit, you have to go and learn the school song. You can have it. You can sing it at
Nigel,
the
Nigel.
We're ready. We'll be
Nigel.
ready at the reunion.
They will
No,
rehearse. They will rehearse. By the time we're ready, they will
Yes,
rehearse.
you have it rehearsed. You know.
no.
Yes,
When,
yes, yes.
Nigel, when we were in 105, they used to say, if you can't sing, don't try to do it.
Yeah,
I learned that
wonderful,
from long
wonderful
time.
words though, really profound words in that school song. I knew that school song long ago, even before I went to Dominica Grammar School. So just imagine this.
Yeah.
I knew this school song, and it's still with me. It's still there. Like the Dominica Grammar School song. I mean, no other school can test us when it comes to the school song. The greatest of all builders. And even the St. Martin School song as well.
Sing the grammar school song now because it wouldn't, it might,
You know, I
Now
can
is
just
not
break
the
into
time to
song,
sing the
and
grammar
sing it, but it's okay.
You
It's
gotta
okay.
rub it in. So
Yeah.
can I
Yes,
Can I-
Tuti.
and I do a little plug again. I know it's
Yes,
you know,
yes. you
Yeah,
can.
it's
You can
we just
have
have
the
about
line
2
up, yes.
minutes.
So again, I would like to invite everyone to go to our Facebook page, and it's St. Mary's Academy Class of 1974/1975 alumni, and the registration forms there. Please make sure to register, be part of it. Even if you can't come, we would love to have you there. I mean, a number of people are going to be there. We're excited about it. But if you can't be there in person, you can be there in spirit. We'll appreciate that too. We're looking forward to all the activities that are going to take place there. And the registration form, as I said, is on the Facebook page. Just go ahead and register. And if you're not involved in social media, just go to SMA Old Boys 7475 at gmail.com, and we'll get you the information that you need. We're excited about this, and any way that you can individually share it with people who you know or other alumni, or just people who are interested in it, because for the length of the school, the time the school has existed, to not have a reunion is I mean, we're changing that, and Sobers made a good point. There has to be something past just this reunion. Let's see what evolves from it, and let's see if we can help propel the school and the students and give them something to look up to. That is really critical.
Yeah. Also, let me just issue a call to particularly 74-75 alumni, but also generally SMA alumni. If you want to support the cause, if you want to volunteer your time to assist with the activities for the reunion, we welcome that. You can contact any one of us directly. I think a lot of people know how to contact people like myself, Dr. Dublin in Dominica, and Alvin Thomas, who is our international our ambassador in the United States. But we need the support. So if you can come out and give us, some people have already come forward and lend their support to the cause. People like workers, like Cornell Phillip, and others who are working behind the scene to help us with the Old Boys concert. We want to thank them very much. We have the media houses that have come forward and giving us the support and
Yes.
So
BBS, Kyrie.
yeah, so
Thank
Well,
you
let me-
so
let
much,
me-
it's
DNO.
very important.
Yeah.
So anybody want to support the cause, if you want to make a contribution, a donation to the reunion effort as well, you can do so as well.
Yeah. Well, guys, let me thank you for joining us. I really enjoyed it. I mean, despite the little jab I would throw now and then, I really admire, St. Mary's Academy.
That's all right.
Seriously, from a very tender age, St. Mary's Academy played a lot in my upbringing as well. So I would just jump the cemetery wall and just go in, because I was right there. I was always there. So, and I really want to thank you, the committee, for putting this together. And it captures so many different aspects of our lives. And I just like the whole setup. I like what you all are focusing on as well. And I really look forward to, a successful event as well. And hope that a lot of people will partake in this, a lot of old boys of the SMA. And, not only for the SMA old boys, but you have opened it up to other people who want to partake as well. And I think that is very, very, very good. Nigel, of course, we have done a lot on connecting the dots where SMA is concerned. We recently had the roof rehabilitation project discussion, something like this, going on. And so all the best to all of you. I really enjoyed the discussion. I wish we had some more time to just talk about school days and, and community and the importance of this cohesion and all of this. But wow. Next time, by the way, please take this. Next time, if you come on a program again to talk about your school, you mentioned at the start, right? Okay? So we'll get it. But you don't have to go mention all throughout. I mean, please, who does that? It is too repetitive.
I just want to quickly say thank you to you and Nigel and DBS, the staff and DBS, for allowing us this platform to speak about the program, speak about our school. We appreciate that immensely. And we look forward as we move the program to collaborate with yourself, Nigel, and DBS. So we want to say thank you very much.
Yeah, especially, Mr. Cecil Joseph. We really appreciate his in-kind contributions too. And I had a nice discussion with him and, his willingness to help this. I really, really appreciate it. And Vanessa from Kyrie also. I mean, I know it's a different station, but I think it's worthy of mentioning that she's been very helpful and very keen on helping us promote this. This is a national. I want to turn this into a national effort to make this work because it really is.
Yes, a school reunion should be regarded as that, national effort.
No?
If you combine your forces together and you have a wonderful program like what you all have set, I think you can call it that.
If SMA succeeds, Dominica succeeds.
Dominica succeeds.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, guys.
Absolutely.
So, Nigel, we'll do it again next week, God willing.
Yes, my dear. We'll link up again next week.
Will the producer be coming on anytime soon again on the program?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay.
We'll-
No detention
we'll
for
talk
him.
about two.
Okay, no detention for him.
We'll link up for that and make sure it
Yes.
happens.
All right.
Yes. All right.
Okay.
All the best to
Thank
all the
you,
best,
guys.
Sobers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really
All right, all the
appreciate it.
best, man. All the best.
All right. Join us
Thank
again
you
next
so
week
much.
for another program.
All right.